Hey guys! Welcome back to the channel. Imagine a time long before humans, long before animals, even long before plants, a time when Earth was a barren, violent world. Yet, out of this chaos, life would begin. But how? How did life start on Earth? Is it a miracle of nature, a cosmic accident, or something far more mysterious? How did life begin on Earth? It's one of the greatest mysteries that scientists have been trying to answer for centuries. From the first spark of life in a primordial ocean to the diverse world we see today, the story of life's origins is nothing short of extraordinary. In this video, we'll dive deep into the science and explore the theories about how life began on our planet. So, sit back and join me on this fascinating journey. Today, we're diving deep into the science behind the origins of life itself. Let's explore how life began on Earth, from the simplest molecules to the first living organisms. To understand how life began, we must first travel back in time, over 4.5 billion years ago. Earth was a very different place. A young planet, still forming, covered in volcanic activity and bombarded by asteroids and comets. The surface was molten, and the atmosphere was a toxic mix of gases like methane, ammonia, and carbon dioxide. No oxygen, no breathable air. This was an inhospitable world, where temperatures were scorching, and the oceans, if they existed at all, were still forming, filled with chemicals that we would later find to be crucial for life. But despite this harsh environment, it was in these very conditions that life would one day emerge. The puzzle of how that happened is one of the most profound mysteries in science. One of the first theories about the origin of life is called the primordial soup theory, first proposed by Russian scientist Alexander Oparin in the 1920s. According to Oparin, Earth's early oceans were like a rich soup of simple chemical compounds, such as amino acids, sugars, and nucleotides. But these weren't just any chemicals, they were the essential building blocks for life. Scientists believe that lightning, volcanic eruptions, and UV radiation from the sun provided energy that triggered chemical reactions in this soup. These reactions led to the formation of even more complex molecules, like amino acids and proteins, the basic building blocks of life. Imagine a time when these molecules were floating around in the oceans, waiting for the right conditions to come together and form something more, the very foundation of life. In 1953, two American scientists, Stanley Miller and Harold Urey, made an incredible breakthrough. They wanted to test the idea that life's building blocks could form under early Earth conditions. So, they recreated those conditions in the lab. Miller and Urey mixed gases like methane, ammonia, and hydrogen with water and subjected them to electrical sparks, simulating lightning strikes. After a week of running the experiment, the scientists found that amino acids, the essential building blocks of proteins, had formed. This groundbreaking experiment provided the first direct evidence that simple organic molecules could indeed form from inorganic compounds, laying the foundation for our understanding of how life could have arisen. But forming simple molecules like amino acids was just the beginning. Life, as we know it, requires more complexity. What came next? How did these basic building blocks come together to form something more intricate, the proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids that are crucial for life? One possibility is that these molecules formed long chains called polymers. For example, amino acids could link together to form proteins, while simpler molecules could come together to form RNA or DNA, the molecules responsible for carrying genetic information. But to make this all possible, these molecules needed to come together in the right environment. Enter the concept of catalysis, special molecules that can speed up reactions. Now, here's where things get really fascinating. A major step toward life involved the formation of protocells, simple, cell-like structures formed from lipids. Lipids are molecules that are naturally attracted to water, and when they are exposed to it, they tend to form spherical structures, a kind of membrane that encloses other molecules. These protocells acted like primitive cells. They could encapsulate complex molecules, like proteins and nucleic acids, within a protective barrier. And they could even replicate themselves. This was a critical step toward life, a self-replicating structure that could evolve over time. Through natural selection, some protocells would have been more successful at surviving, while others failed. This process of selection, driven by the environment and the ability to replicate and adapt, would eventually lead to the first true living organisms, simple cells known as prokaryotes. These early prokaryotic cells were the first true living organisms. They were simple, no nucleus, no complex internal structures, but they were alive. They could replicate, evolve, and interact with their environment. And over billions of years, these simple cells would evolve into more complex life forms. One of the most important steps in the evolution of life was the development of DNA, a molecule that could store genetic information. DNA is the blueprint for all living organisms, and it allows organisms to pass on their genetic information to the next generation. This genetic material would evolve over time, resulting in an incredibly diverse range of species. While the theory of abiogenesis, life arising from non-living matter on Earth, is the most widely accepted, scientists are still investigating whether life could have come from elsewhere. The panspermia hypothesis suggests that life, or the building blocks of life, could have been brought to Earth on asteroids or comets. Could life have started in space, only to find a home here on our planet? From the simplest molecules to the vast diversity of life on Earth today, the journey of life has been long and complex. It's a process of trial and error, of adaptation, and of evolution. Though the exact moment life began is still shrouded in mystery, science continues to piece together the puzzle, one discovery at a time. As we explore the origins of life, we also learn more about ourselves and our place in the cosmos. The story of life is far from over. Who knows? Perhaps one day, we'll answer the question of how life began once and for all. If you enjoyed this journey through the origins of life, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. What do you think? How did life begin on Earth? Let me know your thoughts. And if you want to explore more fascinating topics like this, be sure to check out our other videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.